All right, we're still with the coverage of the first day of Egypt's presidential race. And earlier in the day, President Sisi, who was running for a first term, cast his vote in Heliopolis district among top state officials, as also Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli casted his ballot in the presidential election at the new administrative capital. Among other figures, Senator Speaker Councillor Abdel Abdel and Egypt's First Lady, Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi, and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmed al-Tayyib, and Pope Tawadros of Alexandria also casted their ballots. Several ministers, including Minister of Supply and Interior Trade Ali Musalhi, and the Minister of Endowment Muhammad Mukhtar Gum'a, and also Minister of Interior. With us over the phone, we have one of our correspondents, Nermin Abdel Rahman from Al Mansoura. Hello, Nermin. Nermin, are you there?
Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello, Nermin.
Good evening to you.
Okay, the pleasure is all mine. Nermin, you have witnessed the first day of the presidential race from Al Mansoura, one of the prime cities among the governorates. So you would like to describe from the beginning how it all started from midday when you were there.
In fact, Ibrahim, I arrived in Mansoura at 3 p.m. or just a little bit before that. And I was really very much surprised with the large queues in front of the polling stations in Mansoura. And I found that when I spoke with some of the judges which were there and some of those who are responsible for monitoring the polling or the voting process, that this is the case in Al-Baqaliyya in general. As you know, Ibrahim, Al-Baqaliyya is one of the biggest governorates in Egypt, 3,500 kilometers, 21 centers or 21 towns and suburbs, 24 general committees and 947 subcommittees. In fact, it was very clear from the very beginning that the turnout is going to be that heavy. And what I witnessed myself when I came to Mansoura, that it's really eye-catchy to find all age categories, to find the youth, to find the elderly, and of course, women and youth from both genders were there to reflect the keenness of the Egyptian people to go and to cast their votes, to share, to practice this constitutional right, to choose the coming president for Egypt for the next 6 years.
Nermin, you have witnessed a lot of information about the polling centers and polling stations. Let's speak a little bit with details. What about the social segments that you have seen standing in the queues of the polling stations? Can you tell us about this? Are there any variety of social segments, or it's limited for just one segment or two, which is showing the kind of the new awareness that the Egyptian people are witnessing nowadays, actually?
This is it, Ibrahim. You know, in between Cairo and Mansoura, there's about 140 kilometers, something like that, and some of the polling sectors are in schools on the road. I found that this is phenomenal. Oh, I can call it this way. It's going to be phenomenal turnout. And regarding the segments, as you've kindly mentioned, I would clearly say that all segments of the society. And it was really amazing, or I'm very proud to be accurate to say that all the time the Egyptian women are the secret, and with their awareness regarding the importance of participating in the election, it's really great. Here I'm talking not only about the well-educated women, but the well-cultured Egyptian women. And it was that clear when you know that they were very much keen to go to the polling station with their families, with their kids. You would easily find a mother with her children carrying the Egyptian flag, and of course you are going to listen to the patriotic songs from here and there, turning the whole process into a kind of a festival. It was an electoral festival rather than just a voting process in a presidential election. And it's enough to tell you that in Al-Baqaliyah, there are 4,562,000 eligible voters, meaning that Al-Baqaliyah is the fourth governorate regarding the number of eligible voters in Egypt.
Nermin, let's speak significantly about the electoral process. How much time does it take in order to finish this job? How much time does it take?
From 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, thank God, and since those who are responsible for the voting process received all the papers and all the administrative things, they were very much keen to make it that easy for all the voters, and particularly for the elderly and people with determination. You would easily find the elderly people or people with determination being helped by whether the judge himself, who is responsible for the voting process in all the subcommittees, or those who were there, very much keen to help anyone in need. And in fact, Ibrahim, Dr. Ayman Mukhtar, the governor of Al-Baqaliyah, was very much keen to be of the first top executives to cast his vote, and he had a tour, or an inspection tour to be accurate, in many of the voting centers all over Al-Baqaliyah to make sure that the voting process is going on that smoothly, of course with this fruitful cooperation and coordination among all concerned bodies.
Okay.
This does not mean that everything was rosy, but unfortunately I should say that since I am the correspondent of our channel, that in Nabarro is one of the cities affiliated to Al-Baqaliyah Governorate, and particularly in a village named Bahut, one of the voters, unfortunately, he had a cardiac arrest and he died in Bahut. Of course, all the procedures were taken immediately and all the medical staff interfered immediately, but unfortunately, this voter, who was 55 years old, unfortunately he died, and this was the only, I would say, unfortunate incident which
Nermin, let's go to another point in the electoral process. How do you see the security measures there, and how do you see the procedures, the judgmental procedures? A lot of jury and a lot of monitoring bodies exist in this elections 2024. Tell us more about it.
In fact, Ibrahim, all the security procedures were taking place on the ground, not from today in the morning, but with the cooperation between the governorate of Al-Baqaliyah, of course headed by Dr. Ayman Mukhtar, and the security directorate, the police troops who received the polling centers 3 days ago. They made sure that heavy deployment of police troops and of security troops were found to secure the voting process and to make sure that they are here to eliminate any obstacles on the way. And worth mentioning too that there was an operation room which was formed to meet any emergencies and to be all the time in continuous contacts with all the general committees and subcommittees all over Al-Baqaliyah to make sure that they can deal with any problem on the spot without any delay. Ibrahim?
Okay, and Nermin, let's speak about the atmosphere that you have witnessed there at the end of the day. What about the turning of voters for the second and the third day? Is it expected for the number to be doubled, tripled, increased for what you have witnessed on the first day?
Yes, Ibrahim, indeed. There was only a 1 hour break from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. and it was shown to all to make sure that nobody is going to go and to wait for 1 hour to be able to cast his or her ballot, of course. But in the afternoon, the turnout returned to be that heavier. And despite the fact that it's a working day and the process is which is going to take place tomorrow and the day after, or also they are working days, the turnout is very much expected to be heavier. And what we have witnessed today is that, as I told you, it's a festival, or it's something which is really drawing a very civilized scene by all Egyptians who were keen to go and to participate. And by the way, Ibrahim, today in the morning, one of the presidential candidates was found in the polling center which I was in, and from which I filed my coverages in Ibn Rahman school in Mansoura. One of the presidential candidates was there, and he had this tour in Al-Daqaliya, and he really urged the Egyptians to vote, to participate. And he said that the heavy turnout is going to reflect this very civilized message of the Egyptians to the whole world. And in fact, when I was talking with some, whether the executives or the judges or even the voters themselves, all agreed that this presidential elections 2024 is going to be to witness unprecedented turnout, and it's going to be a message to the whole world to what extent the Egyptians are politically aware, and they know well that every vote counts. And what they are doing right now, it's not only for them or even for their children, it's for the coming generations in general. It's going to be a message of political awareness conveyed to the coming generation, or
All
for
right.
generations to come, to be accurate.
Okay, that was Nermin Abdel, correspondent of Nile TV International from Al-Daqaliya. And still covering, and the head of the National Elections Authority executive body said that the authority accordingly sent more judges and judicial authorities personnel to speed up the vote due to the high turnout. The National Election Authority official appreciated Egyptian citizens' wide participation, saying it reflected public awareness and keen interest in performing a national duty and shaping the future of our homeland. Short break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Go vote. Your vote counts. Your vote is your responsibility.
انت الغالية يا بلادي، وانت الأحلى يا بلادي، بناسك والله يا بلادي، بلادي يا بلادي. لو حوادث حنعدلها، ولو مالت نغنلها، ونقول لها يا بلادي